Hi, Wayne. Hi, everybody up at Elizabeth. My name's Earl Phillips, and Wayne asked me to put together a short little video about something regarding trombone and regarding jazz music. And so I wanted to put together just a couple of thoughts for you. If this works, perhaps maybe we can do some more in the future. But if I were going to do one video that I would want to stress one point to trombone players. I myself, I play bass trombone. That's my main instrument, um, and I also write as well. I have my own big band down here in the Philadelphia area. I teach at Cherokee High School, which is in Marlton, and I teach at Rowan University, which is in Glassboro, New Jersey. So all kind of like down here in South Jersey. If there's one piece of information that I would want to share with aspiring students into jazz, or really to any language. You've heard that phrase, music is a universal language, and whether or not it's cliche, the point of it being a language, there's the way that we learn language is so important on how to study in the microcosm point of view of jazz. When we try to speak English when we're babies, I have a 2-year-old upstairs. I have a 7 and a 5-year-old too, but the 2-year-old, he's been listening since he's obviously been alive, and he's been hearing all of these sounds, and now he's finally starting to speak and mumble. So he'll point to something, da 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 da. Now, because he's pointing to it, I know that he wants the Kit Kat bar, and out of his mouth, da 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 da. He's obviously not saying anything yet, but in his mind, he's processing. Oh my God, that's a Kit Kat bar, and I am hungry, and I want it, Dad, right now. But pouring out of the mouth, da, 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 da. And it's kind of how we start when we begin with improvisation, or really with playing jazz. We're not quite speaking the language until we've really gone through, exhausted, and imitated great speakers or great instrumentalists before us. If my wife and I are at the house and we keep saying apple, 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 right at him, there's going to be a time where he's able to enunciate in a similar way that my wife and I say the word. He's doing that now. He'll go apple, and he's getting closer and closer. But there's an intense amount of listening and watching and everything to try to replicate how mom and dad are saying the word apple. We, as instrumentalists, the natural way to learn language is through that rigorous listening and imitation. And that's something that I would task any trombonist, any instrumentalist with. You will never, you guys are all pretty, I would imagine in high school that's who's seeing this video. And when you're in high school, I know at our school you have to take, I think it's 2 or 3 years of a foreign language. Look, we all know none of us are going to learn how to speak Latin or Spanish by going to a classroom, opening up our textbooks, and trying to memorize the conjugation of verbs. We're not. We're going to learn to speak Italian when you're in San Gimignano and you're not in Rome or in Venice, where pretty much everybody speaks English. No, you're in the hill towns where everybody speaks Italian, and that's the method of communication. You're going to learn how to speak like those people when you are ingrained in the culture and when you're actually speaking dialect. So the most important thing that you can do as young trombonists, as young musicians, is to listen, listen, listen. And with YouTube and with Spotify and all of these other streaming services, you have an incredible library. The con to that is because you have so much, it's almost difficult sometimes to know when you're beginning what's worth your time and what is not worth your time. There's so much noise. I mean, you see it on, I'm sure you see it on social media too, right? Being able, I feel like that's something for your age group it's a real challenge. So being able to filter out what's not necessarily important and really focus in on what is. Jamie Aebersold is he's a big like music jazz like a jazz improviser, jazz ed guy out in Kentucky, and he's been doing this thing for 40, 50 years probably. But Jamie he has a pretty good site, just aebersold.com, AEBERSOLD. If you Google him, you'll find the website. And he's got this link of, it's just free stuff. He's got a free packet, and you'll see once you get onto the site, you'll see it there. But something that's invaluable from that particular packet, it'll say free stuff, and you just download the PDF. But there's a list of instrumentalists by instrument. So if you are a trombone player and you don't really know of any trombone players that are out there, that is a great resource for you to check out, to try to find somebody that you've either never heard of or somebody who's playing that you really like. And I think that's a decent stopping point for the first video. And I guess, the task, not that I'm going to grade you on an assignment or anything like that, but I think if I were tasking you with something, it would be to try to find a new trombonist, or perhaps your first trombonist that you've never heard of before, but I went onto YouTube and I checked this person out. And you listen to a couple of different takes. You guys know the way YouTube works. As soon as you type in a name, every particular cut's going to come up, probably sorted by the most popular, or the most hits. That's probably going to be a good starting point. And just listen. You can do it while you're working out, while you're doing some other homework. You just listen to a couple of players and, wow, man, I really like the way that this guy sounds. And I feel like that's a great first step for you, because through listening, which is paramount, you're going to find the first tone of the trombone that you're going to want to try to sound like. And that's a very important thing. Before you talk about here with the corners and face and how the armature had to set up, I think for you, it should be listening, and you should try to find somebody whose sound you want to sound like, because then you have something to shoot for, a model to go after. So that would be the first task that I have for you. And if you're not hip to trombone players and you've never done this before, cool. Go to the Aebersold book or that free PDF and check out all the different names that are there and type a couple in. They're all great. I mean, of course, there's recommendations, but that's really your journey to find. A couple to start with, if you want to be scared, Frank Rosolino. He'll scare you. It's incredible what that guy can do on the trombone. Another one that might be a little bit more palatable for you, Benny Green. BENNIE GREEN. So those would be a couple to check out. But you should find who motivates you and start to listen to their stuff and give yourself an idea of what you think you want to sound like. So happy listening, and listen all the time. It is invaluable. So best wishes, and if this is cool and you want some more, I've got a boatload to give you. So Wayne, thanks for asking. Hope this is helpful. If not, let me know, and I can fix, do whatever it is. But that's what I got. Good luck, guys. Enjoy this remote learning. Crazy, man, I know. But push through it, because we're all in the same boat, man, and doesn't mean the content can't still be delivered and learned, man. So best wishes, and maybe I'll talk soon. Peace.